week? What was our last week's topic? Who can tell me before we go into today's lesson? Who can remember? Remember and share with us. Okay, let me look at the chat session. Resilience. All right, good evening, Mal. I'm just seeing your chat now. Good evening, Malobo. All right, good. We talked about resilience. Can you explain to me, just in your own word, what is resilience? What do you understand by the word resilience? Resilience, what is that? It sounds like a big word, but we were able to break it down last week. What does that mean to you? We are doing a recap. Yes, bounce back. It means to bounce back from difficulty, from challenges. That's good. Nkem Sinachi and Nkem Sinachi, I can see you. You are welcome to the class. We have Nkem Sinachi and Chimamanda. You are welcome to today's class. So what does resilience mean to you? Obi and Kamso, good to see you. You are welcome. Take your seats, get settled, get your pen, your writing material, and remember your guide also. Remember your guide. If you don't have it, please go and bring it. Nkem Sinachi said, not giving up. Not giving up. Yeah, that's correct. Resilience means bouncing back, not giving up. Not throwing the towel, yes, not giving up. Yes. Do we have another definition or another meaning of resilience to you? Resilience. So were we able to practice resilience over the weekend, over the last weekend? Between last week, Sunday, and now, were you able to practice resilience? Just go to the comment section and type yes or no, yes or no. Did you practice resilience? Amazing Amarachi said yes, she practiced resilience. Okay, who else practiced it? Did you face any difficulty? Maybe in school, you went to visit your friends, you went to a party, in church, even at home. Did anything happen and made you practice resilience? Give up and say, I'm not going to do this. Or you removed the T from the can't and you said, I can try it. Did you try again? That's the power of resilience. Or you were trying to do that laundry, it feels very difficult, but you said, I am going to try it. And you did not abandon it, right? We have learned that resilience is staying through, is not the absence of challenges, but staying through to the end. All right. Can someone tell me ways you can practice resilience? What are the ways? How can you practice resilience? Or how can you build resilience? Let me use that word. How can you build resilience? How can you build it? How can you build resilience? By enduring hardships. Wow. Hmm. Malobo, this is that's deep. By enduring hardships, by enduring the pains, right? Maybe you are in that cooking exercise, you're feeling very hot and uncomfortable. That's a hard time, isn't it? But you stay true to the end. You are in the farm trying to plant the seed. Perhaps the sun was hitting you, right? But you stayed true to complete your farming as it were. Good. So, which other way can we build resilience? How can we build resilience? How can you build resilience? Amazing Amarachi, how can you build resilience? Obi and Kamso, Nkem Sinachi and Chimamanda, how can you build resilience? Okay, I'm waiting for you guys. Just go to the comment section and type how you can build resilience. We looked at 3 ways to build resilience last week. 3 ways. So just mention one. Okay. So I'll mention continue and don't stop. That's good. Means keep moving, don't stop, right? You see challenges as learning opportunities. You take care of your body. You stay connected to others. Continue and don't stop. Endure hardship. Well done, ambassadors. Well done. Today, we are going to continue with our series for the month. With joy in your heart, I want you to give me your favorite emoji as we bring up our Coach Bemisola. I want you to go to the comment section, give me your favorite emoji, welcome our coach as she's going to take us in today's class. I'm not seeing your, okay, yes, I've seen Malobo's emojis. I've seen their exciting emojis. Amrachi, I can see your emojis as well. Coach Memi, thank you for being here with us. You have the floor now.
Hello, Coach Bemi, you are muted. Can you unmute your mic? Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Can
we can.
everybody hear me? Okay. Thank you very much. Welcome to class once again. It is good to be here. It is good to have everyone here. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are joining in and where you are joining in from. So, welcome to today's class. How was your day? How was your Sunday? How was the weekend? I mean, it's the weekend is over already. It's a new week, right? Yes, it's a brand new week. And this week will be great for all of us in Jesus' name. Yeah, so we continue in our series. And today, last week, as Coach Kate said, we looked at resilience, and today we are looking at another brother, courage, right? Maybe brother, maybe sister. And today we are looking at courage. We are looking at courage. And a quote from Nelson Mandela here says, courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. So courage is not the absence of fear. It is the absence, it is the triumph, the victory we have over fear, right? So you don't have to be perfect to do things. You don't have to be too confident to do things. You don't have to even be confident to do things, right? But how do you overcome that lack of confidence or that lack of courage when you do it anyways, right? Yes. So that is the quote by Nelson Mandela. How many of us know who Nelson Mandela is? I know most of us know who Nelson Mandela is. If you have been in the PDAC Academy, you know who Nelson Mandela is, right? Yes, so we move ahead, and we are looking at the objective of this course today, objective of this course. So by the end of this lesson, what do we, yes, the first Black South African president. Okay, I think the Malobo, I think you are from South Africa. Am I right? Am I correct? Am I correct? So by the end of it, yes, because that name sounds, I mean, it reads South Africa. All right, thank you for letting us know that Nelson Mandela is the first Black South African president. So by the end of this lesson, we want to know what courage is, want to understand why courage is important, why it is a vital quality for achieving our goals and facing fears. We also want to learn how to practice ways to be courageous in our daily life. But before we move ahead, can somebody tell me, what do you think courage is? You know, from even maybe that quote that we just saw, what do you think courage is? What do you think courage is? I want to see, I want to hear from you. Being brave. Oh wow, yes. Yes, being brave. Okay, somebody else. Somebody else wants to tell us what courage is. The Malobo said, being brave. Yes, being brave, right? Being brave. And I mean, can you tell us one somebody that you know that was brave, trying new things? Okay, yes. Somebody, you know of somebody that was brave, somebody prominent, could be from a book that you read, could be from anywhere that showed courage, that showed Joshua from the Bible, right? Yes. You know, the Bible records that God told him, even though he was scared, right? He was scared of, you know, that he was from the minority of the tribe of Israel, you know, and he was, because of his size and everything, he was afraid. But, you know, he did what God asked him to do, is that he did it anyways, right? With courage. You know, the Bible records that God told Joshua to be brave, right? To be brave and courageous, right? Yes, thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else? David, yes. David, Kiki and David, welcome. Yeah, David was brave. David from the Bible. He was so brave that he confronted a very big giant. Somebody, every other big person, all trained army ran away from. But you know, he was able to do what? To face that giant, Goliath, right? He was able to face what everybody was afraid of. Do you think David was not afraid either? He was afraid, but he allowed himself to, you know, to even move with courage. You know, Daniel and in the lion's den. Yes. So let's move on Let's move on. Yes, I'm amazing. I can see everyone is everyone has an understanding of what it means to be courageous, what it means to be brave. So our case study today, I hope we all, I mean, do we have our manuals with us? Do we have our manuals with us? And I would want us to be interactive as much as possible. And since we have the slide, can somebody unmute and read this first part of the case study for us? Is that possible? Is that possible that somebody unmute and read this first part of the case study for us so we can continue? Is that possible? Okay, let me just go ahead. So we have this case study before us. Yeah, you can read it from the slide. You can read it from the slide.
I hear him from Academy.
Kwadu is a great storyteller, but has a big fear of public speaking. When a school competition is announced, his fear makes him want to give up, even though he's written his best story ever.
Okay, did you hear that? There's this figure in this case study. His name is or her name is Pado, right? He's a very great storyteller. He knows how to tell story. That's what this case study recorded is trying to let us know. You know, he's a very great storyteller. Like most of us, right? We are very good at some things. You know, maybe artwork. Some of us is storytelling. Some of us is drawing. Some of us is, science. Some of us is maybe drama. But there was something that was wrong. Even though he's a great storyteller, it is recorded that Kwadwo has a big fear of public speaking. He has a big fear to face a crowd and speak publicly, right? And when the school competition was announced, what happened? He wanted to give up because of the fear of facing the public, right? He wanted to give up, even though he has written one of the best story, right? But he wanted to give up. He wanted to give up. He wanted to give up. And the second part of it says, a sister's advice, you know, the school speech part, right? A sister's advice. His sister, Amma, tells him that courage isn't about not being afraid. Do you see that? So it is not you, and that was what our first quote told us. It is not you, it is not about you not being afraid, but about doing what is right, even when you are afraid, right? So Kwadwo decides to face his fear and enters the competition. He still feels scared, right? But his love for his story is bigger than his fears, right? His love for the story that he has written, his love for his story. Now, Kwadwo, we understand that Kwadwo is a man, is a boy, right? So his love for his story, because he has passion for writing story, for telling stories, even though he's afraid, he went ahead to do what? To enter for the competition. He went ahead to enter in for the competition, and that is what being courageous means. That is what being courageous means. Being courageous doesn't mean that there is no fear. You can be afraid, even though you are good at that thing, like our case study here, even though you are good at that thing, even though you are good at that thing, there are sometimes you may be afraid. There are sometimes you may be afraid to do that thing. And it is okay to be afraid, but it is not, what is not okay is allow your fear to overrule you. Don't allow your fear to overrule you. And in the case of, thank God for his sister, right? Thank God for his sister. He was able to do what? She was able to, you know, advise him that, yeah, I know you are afraid, but you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. I know you are afraid, but you can do this, right? So can somebody tell us how you have overcome fear, how you have replaced fear with courage in the past, how you have overcome, or have you ever, like I said, courage is like a brother to resilience. It takes somebody that is actually really resilient to do what to be courageous, because by the time you look at how you have stretched yourself to put up, for example, our case study, to put up the story, to put up whatever you wanted to present, to do whatever it is that you have to do after you have put on resilience, after you have stretched yourself so much, then you are now backing out because of fear. It will not really make sense. So resilience and courage goes hand in hand. They go together, right? So I mean, I'm asking now the question: how have you faced? How have you replaced fear with courage? How have you replaced fear with courage? How did you replace fear with courage in the past? Have you been afraid to do something before? And how did you replace it with courage? Were you able to replace it with courage, or did you totally back out? Can anybody speak to that or write about that? Okay. First, identify the fear, root cause of the fear, pray over the fear, then always replace the fear with truth. That's what I did. Okay. So you identified the fear. That's good. That's great. Good to amazing. Good to read that. Right. You replace the fear. You identify the fear first. What am I really afraid of? For this case study, what was his fear? What was his fear? What was his fear? If anybody would answer to that. For our case study, what was his fear? If you follow through, what was his fear? Anybody? Okay, public speaking. Yes, amazing. Thank you so much. Amazing. His fear was public speaking, even though he could write great stories. But his fear was to now face the public and speak about his stories. Yes, public speaking was his fear. Yes, speaking in front of the crowd, that was his fear. That was his fear, right? Yes, that was his fear. So he identified his fear. He identified his fear. He knew his fear was, he knew he was afraid of public speaking. And according to what the Malabo said, that he identified his fear. Then he also the root cause of the fear. Then he prayed over the fear. Then he replaced the fear with the truth. What was the truth? What was the truth you replaced the fear with? What was the truth you replaced the fear with? Right? You can have a mantra to speak that whenever I'm afraid of something, this is what I will say. Like, I mean, one of the things I tell my children to do is that they will just say they should not, yes, that his passion for a story is bigger. Wow, that his passion for a story is bigger than his fear, right? So, he replaced his passion for storytelling. He replaced his passion he replaced his fear with his passion for storytelling. So Andy says, once I was at a teens class, we wanted to do a little video to practice what was being taught, content creation and script writing wise. I was trying to coordinate everyone, but no one wanted to actually play the biggest role because we were all scared we wouldn't do it right. Wow, I was scared, but I volunteered to play the role, and I did. The teacher chose me. Wow, that's great. That's great. Amazing, 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 Andy. So proud of you. Yes, so proud of you. So as a leader, one of the things you don't want to bring you down is fear, right? You have a lot of things to put out there as a leader. You have influence, you have people to influence as a leader, because that is what PDAC is training you for, right? That is what we are training you for at PDAC Academy, right? So you don't want fear to hold you down, because you need to influence people. And when you are always at the back because you're afraid, I used to be very, afraid. One of the things for me is that I used to be very shy. I used to be very, I just want to be behind the scene. I can coordinate like Andy said, but to now go out to speak, but I have to overcome that as well. That's, this is what I am. This is who I am. I have to speak to children. I have to speak to teens. I have to speak to young adults. And why will I now allow fear to hold me down? No, not ever. So I choose courage over fear, right? I allowed courage to rule over fear for me. And I know that would be also what every one of us would do as well, right? Yes. So moving on, insights into courage. Insight into courage. So we have here, courage is willingness to. Courage is the willingness to act. Courage is the willingness to act in the face of fear, pain, or difficulty. It's an action, not a feeling. Do you see? It's an action, not a feeling. It's the action you take. It's an action, is the action you take. You take over what? Over fear. It's the willingness. You have to be willing to act in courage. You have to be willing to act in courage, to face that fear. Just like David, as you mentioned, as some of us mentioned, just like David, just like Joshua, he decided to be courageous instead of being afraid, instead of allowing fear to rule over him, right? And also, if we know the story of the 3 Hebrew boys, they stood their ground as an act of being brave and courageous. Do you see? Yes, so courage is that willingness that you have to act in the face of fear. You look at fear in the eyes and say, I choose to be courageous. You see, you look at fear in the eyes, I say, and speak that I choose to allow courage to rule over you, right? So you choose and you act out your courage, right? So even when it is painful, even when it is difficult, you choose to act. You choose to act out your courage. You choose to take an action, not to let your feelings overrule your courage, right? So we have, according to what we have learned, so far, we have physical versus moral courage, right? Physical versus moral courage. So physical courage is facing danger, facing danger. Who can give me part of the example we gave, you guys mentioned? Who can give me somebody that showed physical courage? In the Bible story we mentioned, somebody showed physical courage. Even one of them I mentioned just now. You have physical courage, you have moral courage. And more physical courage says we are facing danger. Physical courage is facing danger. Who do we? Yes, David. David actually faced danger. He didn't care if he was going to die or not, but he knew, according to his proclamation, the Hebrew boys, yes, they faced danger regardless. They were courageous enough to face danger and look at danger in the eyes like this. Do you see? Yes, they were able to face danger. Even the evil boys also, yes, they face danger, even though that is more like a moral, Daniel, yes, even though that is more like a moral courage. Moral courage says it is standing up for what is right, just like the evil boys, standing up for what is right, just like Nelson Mandela as well, the one that gave that quote in the beginning, standing, moral courage is you standing up for what is right, even when it is hard. Even when it is hard, standing up for what is right. Do you see? That is moral courage. The evil boys showed that they stood up for what was right. They said, we rather die than, than doing this wicked thing, than bowing for a graven image, because it's against their moral standard, right? It's against their moral standing. The same thing with Daniel. He showed moral courage. The same thing with Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela went to prison, right? Standing for what was right. Standing for what was right, right? I mean, you would have seen, if you don't have the PDAC resources, is one of those resources that you need to get. Most of the resources at PDAC are the resources that will tell you, we have those resources that tells us about most of the some of those people that were very courageous, some of those people that stood for something. We have the biography of some of those men, and how they stood their ground. They stood their ground. Also, there's what's his name again? Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King Jr. He also had a moral courage to stand for what was right. He stood for what was right, right? He stood for what was right by, okay, somebody say by how, when Martin Luther King Jr. spoke for the discrimination of Black people to end, in America, how they segregated the Black people, how, they began for them to also have a voice, right? Because Black people were always segregated. So he stood for what was right by, lending a voice and pushing also the Black people to lend their voice to do what was right. So that was moral courage. That was moral courage, standing for what was right. So, we saw how we saw the moral courage our case study showed in this in our case study. So the importance of courage, Yeah, Rose P. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I think she did something she did something like that. Yes, Rose P. So if you want to learn about some of those the biography, just go to the resource lab in PDAC. You get a lot of resources that will tell you about those people, right? So the importance of courage. What are the importance of courage? Like just like resilience, courage is like a muscle that the more you use, the stronger it gets. The more you use, the stronger it gets. You see, the more you use, the stronger you get. The more you use your courage, the stronger your courage gets. Imagine when what's his name? Our case study, when he faced his fear, when he exhibited courage and faced his fear, what happened? What do you think will happen the next time he had to do public speaking? Yes, he would be more brave, right? There won't be fear again. There won't be fear again. He will get used to it, and before you know it, all the fear is gone. So the more courage is like that muscles. The more you use it, the more you exercise your body, the more your muscles develop, right? The same thing, the more you use your courage, the more you show courage, the more courage grows, the more courage grows. And when it grows, what does it do for you? Number one is that you are able to take risks and grow, right? You are able to take risks and grow. So you will be able to try new things and step out of your comfort zone. You are able to try new things. You are able to try new things at all times, right? You are able to take risks. You are able to take risks. You will not just stay in your comfort zone. No. Like I gave the example of myself, right? Like I gave the example of myself that I don't like, I can coordinate everything. I remember even up to when I was in the university, when we are giving group projects, I would say, don't worry, I'll do the research, I'll do everything, I'll put everything together. But to present, one of you must present. Do you see? One of you must present. That's what I do. I run from the front, but I do all the back work, you see. So, but as a leader that is courageous, you are able to take risks and grow. You are able to take step out of your comfort zone. Then the number two thing, why courage is important is that you stand up for yourself and others. You see, you stand up for yourself and others. Like what I said about Martin Luther King Jr., you stand up for yourself and for others. Do you see? So you can say no when you need to, or help someone being treated unfairly, right? You don't have to be the biggest, you don't have to be bigger than a bully. You don't have to be bigger than a bully to be able to say no to a bully, just like Joseph did. David. You don't have to be big. You don't have to be bigger than the bully for you to say, no, you can't talk to me that way. You can't bully him. You can't bully her. You can't talk to her that way. You see, you are able, when you are courageous, you are able to stand up for yourself and others. You'll be able to say no when you need to. When you need to say no for yourself, you'll be able to stand on your ground and say no. Put your feet down, stand and say, no, you can't do that. You can't say that to me. You can't talk about her or about him like that. And I hope every one of us here, we don't have anyone that is being bullied or being a bully as well. I know we don't have bullies here, right? But I hope you are not being bullied, right? I hope nobody is bullying you, maybe in school, your neighborhood, anywhere, even in your church, nobody is bullying you, right? So you should be courageous and you may not have to face the bully by yourself, right? You should be able to speak up to the bully and speak up to your parents or your teacher about a bully, right? Yes. So the number 3 is overcome. You are able to overcome challenges when you put on the courageous self. When you are courageous, you are able to do what you are able to overcome challenges. That is, you'll be able to face big problems with strength and determination. You are able to face big problems with strength and determination. Overcome challenges, just like somebody that is running a marathon, right? By the time it will get to a point, the person is tired, but courage will tell the person to press on, to push on. You are almost at the push on, and that's also what resilience do. The resilience is able to stretch you, right? Stretch you beyond your limits. Stretch you, expand your limits, right? Then courage will make you to push through, right? So you are able to overcome challenges. You are able to face big problems, when you are solving. Well, the more you, for example, some people are afraid of math, right? But the more you solve math, right, the more you are able to understand the concept behind it, the more you get used to it, the more you get used to it. And as you get used to it, you will not be afraid again, and you'll be able to face bigger problems. And yeah, to check our understanding about what we have learned, part one, let's run with this. Number one, what is the main, you tell me, you just type. Okay, we are seeing the answers already. I think that slide should not be up. Yes, so you type, you let me know. Okay, the options are not even here, right? Oh, okay. So what is the main idea for courage? What is the main idea for courage? Can somebody tell us? I'm not even seeing the option to read out to us. So what is the main idea for courage? So the main idea for courage is what? Nobody is saying anything. There's no option to read, but let me just say it. Acting despite your fear. Maybe we should just put the slide up. We can put the slides up so we can read together. So let's just go through it together. What is the main idea for courage? It is acting despite your fear, right? Then number two says, what was Quadwo's fear? Yes, his fear was public speaking in front of people, public speaking. Then Quadwo's sister Amma taught him that courage is about doing what is right, even when you are afraid. Yes, even when you are afraid, you just have to do what is right. So moral courage is the type of courage you show when you what? When you stand up for what is right, even when it is hard. Yes, so number five says, which of these is a benefit of being courageous? So it helps you grow and take new challenges. Yes. So the benefit of being courageous is that one of it is that it helps you grow and take on new challenges. Then part two says, the story of Quadro shows us that facing your fear can give you words. Okay, let's remove this slide so I can read. Let's remove this part two. Check yeah. So A, greater reward than B, winning a competition. Just put A or B. Just put A or B. B, yes. No. The story of Quadro shows us that facing your fear can give you greater reward. Okay, can give you a greater reward. Oh, sorry. Yeah, greater reward than winning a competition. Yes. So, I mean, there's no option still in this one. So number two says, a person with courage would likely do what? A person with courage would likely do what? When a friend is being teased. Yeah, it is stand up for their friend and tell the teaser to stop. Stand up for their friend and tell the teaser to stop. Like I said, yes, stand up for your friend and tell the teaser to stop. The bully, tell them to stop. You stand up for your friend. Then number three says, which of these is a good way to practice courage? Which of these is a good way to practice courage? Starting with a small act of bravery, right? Starting with a small act of bravery. Then Quadro learned that a love for his story was bigger than his fear. Yes, Quadro learned that a love for his story was bigger than his fear. Then this last one says, the quote means that being brave means overcoming your fear to act anyway, right? Just act. Either way, just act. So reflection and affirmation. gifts and talent reflection. You want to think about it. Think about your talent. Think about your gift or your talent. What is one act of courage you will take to share that gift with others, even if you are a little afraid? What is that gift that you will share? What is that act of courage? Right? You want to write it down. You want to write it down. What is that act of courage you want to, you want to take to share that gift that you have, that talent that you have? What is that act of courage you want to take beginning from today? Beginning from today, what is that act of courage you want to take beginning from today? So can we take this affirmation together? Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready to take the affirmation together? Just give me a thumbs up so we can go. 1, 2. Are we ready? Let's say it after me. I am courageous. Or let's read together. I am courageous, and my heart is stronger than my fear. I will face my fears with a brave spirit and determined mind. I am free to act even when I feel afraid, because my purpose is greater than my anxiety. Yes, and that is all we have for today. So we want you to give us a feedback. We want you to, tell us how well did you learn? How well did this lesson help you? How well did the lesson help you today? To understand what courage is, how well did you learn? How was the story of Kwado a helpful way to explain the topic? And you want to be confident that you will start practicing what you have learned today, right? So I want you to give us a feedback in your WhatsApp group, on every of our social media platform. You want to give us a feedback. You want to tell us how you have learned courage today and how it has helped you. You want to write it. You want to do a video about it. Anyways you want. So in summary, courage is not about being fearless, but about acting despite your fear. It is not about being fearless. It is about acting despite your fear. By practicing courage, you can grow, you can take on new challenges, and achieve a deeper sense of accomplishment than any prize would offer. As we round up today, I want to remind you that the program workbook resource is compulsory. If you don't have, it is wise for you to get it so that you can, you can go through these things and learn it even at your own pace, at your own time. You can learn it. You can learn it. There's the ebook. There's the paper, physical book. There's hard copy. There's soft copy. Whichever one you want to get, you can get it on the official seller page. You can scan the code that you have there. You can call the number that you have there, and also, tell people about PDAC. Tell your friends, and make sure that you are able to drag your friends along with you next week as I hand over to Coach Christy.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Coach Bemisola. Thank you. We had an amazing time. PDAC ambassadors, did you enjoy this class? If you did, please give Coach Bemisola a round of applause. Go to the comment section, give me your fire emojis, give me your favorite emojis. Tell her how grateful you are for taking you through a very important lesson in life, which is courage. Oh, yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it too. Please give her a round of applause. Be grateful. Remember, we have talked about gratefulness. Be grateful. Say thank you for for her to take us on this class, on this skill called courage. Thank you, Coach Benny. We are grateful to you. Amazing ambassadors. Amazing ambassadors. You see, even me, as I'm going to work tomorrow, there's this thing that I've been so afraid of. There's this report I've been so afraid of writing. But after staying in this class, I'm going to face it head on, and then I'll start writing that report. I don't know about you, but we're encouraging you, whatever that fear is, please face it. And another thing to go away with today is what? Courage is an action word. It's a verb. Courage is an action word. So we have not just learned it, we are going to act on it. You stand up to that fear. If it is public speaking, you're going to stand up to it. You rehearse, keep rehearsing, you practice, keep practicing. Then before you know what is happening, you're going to become better and best at what you're doing, okay? Thank you so much again, Coach Bemi, as we take our PDAC creed. I'll go ahead and share my screen so that we'll recite this together. All right. So let's say this together. I am a PDAC ambassador. I am a child of God. I understand myself. I discover, develop, and unleash my God-given potential. I have strong beliefs and values that guide my actions and decisions. I cultivate good habits and follow principles that lead me to success. I am confident and inspiring speaker. I will take this part again. I am confident and inspiring speaker. I dream big dreams, set smart goals, make great plans, and take quick steps to make my dreams come true. I am a great leader. I inspire myself and others to achieve great things. I am excellent in my academics, and I love to learn new things. I believe in myself, and I have a positive self-image. I understand and manage my emotions well, and I am sensitive to others' feelings. I am proud to be a PDAC ambassador and will fulfill my duties with love, respect, excellence, and dedication. So help me God. So help me God, and so may God also help you, all our amazing PDAC ambassadors, in Jesus' precious name. Amen. So as you go into this week, we pray that God's favor will shine upon you. You'll be the first and not the last, the head and not the tail. Go into the world, trail and blaze. See you same time next week. Come early because it's going to be an amazing time next week. The first 5 people are going to be reading for us, so you don't even want to be late, okay? You are going to be here early. So looking at the charts, at our chats, Coach Victor has posted the website. There's a link that he posted for all our biographies. So the biography that Coach Bemisola spoke about, Coach Victor has given us the link. Please go there. I'm also sure that he's going to share it with us in our WhatsApp community. So please click on that link, read up those amazing biographies, and your life will never remain the same. Remember, readers are leaders. Thank you so much, ambassadors. Do have a fantastic week ahead. Bye for now.